3 sets. Coming in behind the second serve.
Yeah, he said earlier he might not do that because Connors likes to return so well. And this is really the strength of Jimmy Connors, the return serve on the big points. But he's facing, I think, the best server in tennis today by a long shot. McEnroe can do more things with that ball, serving from the left arm.
So McEnroe is serving, and directly behind McEnroe is Franco Bartoni, the international supervisor who can levy these fines, such as Connors was hit with last night.
This is going to be a long, long afternoon. Best of 5 sets in the finals. It's really a good test of who's the better player. I think it's interesting that right at the beginning, McEnroe is happy to stay back and rally with Jimmy. John likes to serve and go in. That's his best shot, but he thinks he can out-rally Connors on the baseline, that Jimmy can't penetrate him and hurt him enough. And that is a switch from his style of play.
Oh, so the first game goes to John McEnroe.
McEnroe wins the first game.
And Connors will come up to serve. These two guys have been playing since 1977 against each other, when young Johnny McEnroe got into Wimbledon as a qualifier and went all the way to the semifinals. The only player ever to do that. Connors won the match, then lost the final to Bjorn Borg. Bjorn Borg, the banished man of tennis on a 6-month sabbatical. Don Budge, 1938, with his wife Lori and with Helen, Marvin Richmond. Richmond, the president of the United States Tennis Association. Don Budge, the Grand Slam in 1938. John McEnroe started out in this tournament against a young American, Tracy DeLotte. Won that 6-3, 6-1. And then had his only problem, Rolf Gehring, the #1 German player. Gehring led 4-1 in the third, and McEnroe won the last 5 games. Sandy Mayer, the most improved player of 1981, was tough, but it was straight sets, 4-4. And then McEnroe, in that peerless performance yesterday against Vitas Gerulaitis, who had pushed him to 5 sets in the U.S. Open last September, that went quickly, 1, 2, and 4, and here goes Jimmy Connors. Whoa!
Well, you won't see anybody catch a ball sooner than that on the left-handed side of McEnroe. Caught it way in front. Could ricochet it back cross court. Connors startled. Love 15.
Almost hit the overhead scoreboard, but it's in play. Connors.
30-15.
Boy, that is the shot that kills John Boyd. That fadeaway approach down the line of the second ball. 17th meeting of these two. Connors leads 9-7. He won the first 4 times they played. And big point against Jimmy.
40.
Bad start for Connors. Should he lose this point? It's one of the problems with Jimmy's game when he does so much work, but he doesn't have a big serve where he can get you a couple cheap points when he's down. Has to earn every rally.
It is wide. McEnroe using the slice very well, keeping the ball close to this plastic carpet. That's long and another breaker.
McEnroe.
McEnroe has the first 2 games.
All right, let's watch. John McEnroe was very comfortable on that baseline, right on the line. Jimmy tries to save it. Now watch John, bounces it. Mighty backhand, beautiful topspin from close in. He looked just like Rod Laver to me there, Bud. When he came across that ball with the left arm.
Very reminiscent. 2 games to none. Woo! Ace. Second ball ace. First of the match. That is a tough serve for a left-hander. To get it over to the right side, but McEnroe does it so well.
30 love.
It was almost midnight when Connors finished his long victory over Hooper.
Surprise, surprise, Bud Collins. This crowd's all for Connors.
30-15.
They really are.
Well, the appearance of McEnroe has made Connors a very popular person.
But I thought with the #1 player in the world here in the finals for the second time trying to win the title, I thought they might be for him a little more, but they're not. Connors won it 4 times.
40-15.
Well, Connors has always been he's a 4-time champion after all. He's played some magnificent matches in this building.
And this building has about 12,500 people filling up right now. It holds 18 for basketball and hockey.
wide. And so John McEnroe builds his lead to 3 games to none. But it's a best of 5 set final. And McEnroe seeded first, of course. Jimmy Connors seeded second, ranking 3rd in the world. And Connors started out with the man who was the semifinalist last year, the young Frenchman, Thierry Toulon, no problem. Jeff Borowiak got only 2 games. Then Andres Gomez, the giant from Ecuador, was definitely a problem. He held 2 set points in the first set and 1 in the second. Connors beat him 5 and 6. And last night, Chip Hooper had Jimmy on the brink of a 2-set deficit. Hooper held 5 set points in that second set tiebreaker, 3 on his own flamethrower serve. But Connors won it 3-6, 7-6, 6-3, 6-2, 9 points to 7 in the tiebreaker. Keep that name in mind. Chip Hooper, 6 feet 6 inches tall, 210 pounds. And he will rise from 238th on the computer to about 72nd. Sunnyvale, California is Chip Hooper's origin. So, Connors looking for a game. And John McEnroe waiting for the serve.
Connors better break the ice right here and get a game. Don't want to be down 4-love in 2 breaks before the crowd fills up. It's going to be a long day, though, bud. Really, best of 5 set final here. We know the winner gets $60,000, so they'll be earning their pay.
Well, maybe. $60,000. Do you earn that in an afternoon?
Well, that's what you make when you write a couple of stories. I mean, you know, with no exercise, just a little mental gymnastics.
Well, they worked awfully hard to get to this position.
That is true. And notice the way John McEnroe's playing this match. He's just staying back rallying.
Having a nice time.
He seems very relaxed. Very
It worked
confident.
at the Masters, as you pointed out.
And he doesn't think Jimmy can hurt him from the baseline. It's obvious. Usually he's attacking all the time, and Jimmy passes him. And he's elected now to say to Connors, I'm going to stay back and rally. And you're going to have to make the pace and attack if you want to beat me. Very smart play, if he can do it. Now, Jimmy does take the offensive here. It comes in, McEnroe with the little boopler. Look at that 2-handed half volley by Connors. He scooped that ball low with the underspin for control, landed just inside the baseline.
40-15. Connors doing all the running. First game. McEnroe has a 3-1 lead.
All right, Jimmy coming in again. Once again, leading the charge, getting aggressive with a beautiful drop volley. And he did just what we said. He attacked a little more in that game. Because McEnroe, unless he serves and comes in, has decided to stay back. He's going to rally. Very effectively so far.
All right, please.
ho. Asbestos fingers just takes the steam out of anything.
And you know, Buddy hit a winner on that shot, but to make that volley, his wrist has got to be very firm right as the ball hits the racket, and he just guessed wrong and still made the shot.
Out. 15-30. McEnroe.
Don't you think, Bud, right now he's got to come in? I mean, it's interesting. Connors is going to come in if McEnroe doesn't.
Well, you'd think so, but McEnroe, just like a guy sitting back in a porch swing, fanning himself for those nice, easy shots.
He is so fluid from the baseline. You don't see much of that with John because he serves and volleys so well. Now, let's see if he comes in here at 15-30.
Sure does. In play.
Great overhead. Now, that was a classic McEnroe point. He served the first spin serve wide to open the court up. Let's see it. Now, watch him. He volleys into the open court. Connors making a great stab. Good high lob, but watch McEnroe. From behind the service line. Boom.
30 all. Wide and a break point. Woo. It drops over. The left hand of Matt Fingers Finkelson on the net was jarred. He set the record for net judging here in Philadelphia. More appearances. Connors forces the issue. He has broken through, and Jimmy catches up on serve. Although McEnroe still leads 3 games to 2. So let's go down to the floor with Barry McKay and Marvin Richmond, the president of the United States Tennis Association.
Okay, Marvin, we've got a big Davis Cup campaign coming up this year. Tell us a little bit about the U.S. and what we can look forward to.
Well, our first tie is against India and La Costa, March 5, 6, and 7. McEnroe, Fleming, Gottfried, and Telcher are going to play. If we should be fortunate enough to defeat India, we would play the winner of Sweden and Russia. If Russia wins, we go to Moscow. If Sweden wins, we play in the United States. If we win that one, the next one would probably be against Australia, down in Australia. If we were fortunate enough to go to the finals, we'd probably play either Czechoslovakia in Prague or Argentina in Buenos Aires.
Sounds like a big year, Marv. How about the U.S. Open? I understand you are the new chairman. Is that correct?
That is correct. And we're looking forward to a great Open. We're going to spend and make lots of improvements on the facility. We're going to have a new press interview room, CBS is going to have a new studio. We're going to have a space for the cable. HBO is going to do the cable. And we're looking forward to much greater transportation for all the players and officials.
All right, Marv. Thanks for being with us. Back to you, Bud.
Thank you, Barry McKay, with Marvin Richmond, who succeeds that wonderful man from Jackson, Mississippi, Slew Hester, who built the National Tennis Center at Flushing Meadow and was in charge for so many years, actually 1978 through 1981, and Slew Hester, the man who got the USTA really going, and now he stepped aside and Marvin Richmond's in charge. Now Jimmy Connors seems very fired up. If you won't take the net, McEnroe, I shall.
And again, Connors wins the point by attacking. It's really interesting how quickly Jimmy has sensed what he must do and reacted to it.
Well, he has been around a while.
But it ain't easy to come in on McEnroe. And that's not Connors' normal style. Coming in on everything now.
McEnroe. And it's wide, and Jimmy Connors is back even. 3 games all. After trailing 3-love, his wife, Patty, McEnroe, very placid, watches a 3-game lead vanish, sticking to the baseline. An intriguing performance. Nope. Connors.
Now let's watch Jimmy Connors trying to work his way into this net. Positioning the ball deeply there, keeping McEnroe moving. Here's a short ball. Look at Jimmy. In close with the whip-like forehand from a half-volley position.
15-30.
What a chance for Connors here, down 3-love. come back to 3-all, 15-30. I keep waiting for McEnroe to crowd the net. Here he comes.
And it's double breaker. The touch that failed. Ace, number 2. Still breaker.
Boy, that was a big chance. Big opportunity. Serves an ace. Has another break point.
And another. 3. Well, that's optimum. 2 breakers, 2 aces.
You can't hit a better serve than that one. Perfectly placed. Cross Jimmy up down the center.
That is wide.
That is McEnroe.
A mistake by John McEnroe. So they trade punches. It goes back and forth. McEnroe from 15-40. Both serve, and he's 4-3.
Think what a difference that game made, Bud. At 15-40, Connors could have broken and won 4 games in a row. Barry McKay, down at courtside. I think you had a chance to chat with Jimmy Connors in the locker room just before the match started. What did he say?
Well, Donald, it is really interesting the contrast between McEnroe and Connors before the match. Jimmy actually was real unhappy walking in there. I said, how you feeling? He says, well, not real good. I had to play till after midnight, and I'm going to start here. And he says, they call me the Midnight Flyer. So he was really unhappy with the fact that he had to play last night and then turn around again and play this afternoon. But coming out here right now, I think it's helping him because for some reason he needs to get charged up, and he's charged up. And to come back from 3-love, it just shows that he's sort of on edge, and I think he plays better like that.
Well, he's playing very well at this point, Barry. And just trying to loosen himself up. It's been a long while since Jimmy has won one of the majors. He'd like to have this again. In this building, he's owned this building, really, because he started playing the U.S. Pro Indoor in 1976. He's won 4 times. He's lost only 2 matches out of 35 in respective. He lost the 1977 final to Dick Stockton in 5 sets, and he was upset last year in the quarterfinals by Wojtek Stibak. Connors at 3-4.
Connors will really have to concentrate this game. Any moment, McEnroe can explode with a couple of winners.
Up the tee.
Makes it look so easy here, but he's really pounding the backhand. Connors tries the drop shot. It's short, right in the middle. Saves one. Look at that wrist. The flick of the wrist, cross court, is McEnroe's trademark in close.
It's love 30. And 40.
40.
3 breakers stacked up on Jimmy's shoulders. Net cord favors John McEnroe. And he leads 5 games to 3 and will serve for the first set.
Boy, oh boy, how it changes around from 15-40 at 3-all. McEnroe serves 2 aces and suddenly comes around the other side and breaks it love. 5-3. John in command here now momentarily.
And the crowd beseeching Connors to revive once again. I suspect he'll revive a lot today. Oh, off the frame and into the net.
Love 15.
John seemed to slip as he went back. He didn't expect the ball to be so far to his right.
McEnroe said yesterday, it's a new year. I'm really going to try to control myself. And there is Fingers Finkelson, the all-time record holder in performances and appearances in the U.S. Pro Indoor. It's good. Connors striking back. Love 30.
Love 30.
Let's see where McEnroe goes with his first serve. He's got to get a good serve here. He wants to stay alive in this game. He leads 5-3, trying to close out the set. Serving right on that seam of the Supreme Court. The question about what he was doing, but he's coming in when he has to on the big points.
Ace 4.
30 all.
That's the serve that kills you when he swings you wide. It's hard to read that. He can go right down the center with the same motion.
Whoop. And McEnroe wipes away the set point himself with his first double. Another set point.
Good first serve when he needed it. Let's see where he goes here with this first ball on set point again.
Down the middle, a service winner, and John McEnroe has won the first set 6-3. He led 3 games to none. Connors caught up, and McEnroe accelerated.
The reigning champion of this U.S. Pro Indoors is Roscoe Tanner, and Roscoe is the subject of our pony player profile today. Tanner there with tremendous service motion, playing last year's finals, beating Wojtek Feback in the finals in straight sets. Roscoe having a very good year. Lost here earlier, upset by Chip Hooper. He's 30 years old, and his weapon, of course, that big left-handed serve, clocked at 153 miles an hour. His major title, first one he won, was the Australian Open in 1977, and of course, the great Wimbledon final that he played in 1979 against Bjorn Borg. There is the Tanner serve, the short backswing, the quick follow-through, and that has been Roscoe's weapon over the years. He's had 2 great matches with Borg, one at the U.S. Open, and of course one in that Wimbledon final, 5 sets. And Roscoe Tanner hopes to have another big season in 1982, and he's today's subject of the pony profile.
Well, that was Roscoe Tanner. He ran into a horse here. Chip Hooper. And Hooper, who knocked off Peter Fleming, Roscoe Tanner, and John Sadri in succession, out-serving those 3 huge servers. I'm Bud Collins, along with Donald L. and Barry McKay. This is the U.S. Pro Indoor in Philadelphia, 10th anniversary of this championship.
Okay.
10th anniversary of the U.S. Pro Indoor, although this event dates back to a high school gymnasium in Cheltenham, 1962, when it started as an amateur event, one of the few indoor events in the world. Best of 5. Connors lost the first set last night to Chip Hooper.
Don't you wonder, Bud, if Jimmy's a little discouraged after coming back from 3 love down. He came way back quickly, had 2 breaks, 3-all. I think it's, you know, this relentless pounding by McEnroe, and when you lose that set, you might get a little down here at the start.
Well, you saw him in London come back from 2 sets down to McEnroe.
I don't know how he keeps pumped up like that.
It's good. On the baseline. Call wide.
Correct. Ball was good here.
Now, there's an overrule.
Play the point.
Bob Emery, whose view was obscured when Connors Jay Snyder, the umpire, Connors has said to him, "You set a precedent," meaning you've overruled. And Connors will expect other overrules, but he hasn't set any precedent whatsoever.
I think they agreed, Bud, before the match that there was going to be very little overruling by the chair umpire, unless it was a foot out or something, a clear error, they would be a change. Now, that was certainly a close call, and under the proper rule reading, Snyder should not overrule.
No, I don't think there should have been an overrule. Bob Emery's view was obscured momentarily as Connors crossed in front of him. No, but it was a very close ball, but he made the call. And I think that's what we want, is to let the linesmen make the calls, unless they're absurd, and that certainly wasn't.
Connors there mocking the chair umpire a little bit. But he's ahead 40-15, so he's pretty comfortable right now. Good depth by John. These players, but Connors in particular, plays each point relentlessly, one game at a time. He's not thinking about what if I get to a set all. He's thinking about, well, how do I win this game? First game of the second set.
Connors takes no chance. The ball might have been wide, but wisely he deals with it. He has the opening game of the second set, having lost the first set. Let's see the point once more.
Watch the way he crowds him here. Connors catching the ball early like a squash player, controlling the tee. McEnroe with the pop fly. Now watch Jimmy coming in quickly. The rolling forehand for a beautiful winner. And we're going down to courtside where Barry McKay is standing with John McEnroe's doubles partner, Peter Fleming.
Peter, I got to ask you something about watching your partner out there. Does it ever bother you that John's going to play a 5-set match and you're saying to yourself, uh-oh, I'm going to have to carry this doubles? Does he ever come out and say, hey, I'm bushed, and take it from here?
No, almost never. Usually when he plays 5 sets of singles, he ends up playing much better in the doubles. In fact, I don't think we've ever lost a match where he's lost singles before that.
So he doesn't really put the pressure on you if he's played extra long?
No, not at all. Actually, doubles it's much easier to get relaxed and into the flow of it when you're a little bit tired. And so normally, I play better after I've played a singles match, and I think he does too.
Peter, how about Jimmy Connors and John McEnroe off the court? What kind of friends are they, non-friends? Is there really some hard feelings between the two of them?
Well, I mean, they have different personalities off the court, and anytime you get two really fierce competitors like that, it's kind of tough. They're friendly, but I wouldn't exactly call them friends.
Would you say they avoid each other off the court?
No, they don't avoid each other, but they certainly don't go out of their way to, to pal around.
All right, Peter. Good luck in the doubles. Back to you, bud.
Thank you, Barry McKay and Peter Fleming, who describes these two opponents today as friendly non-friends. I hate to contradict Peter, but you saw the match in London. After McEnroe lost the 5-set singles match, he and Fleming did indeed lose the doubles final to the guys they're playing today, Ferdy Tagan and Sherwood Stewart.
They did indeed.
Ace number 5 for McEnroe.
You're not a bad statistician. Actually, you're in the wrong calling.
Oh, I've been in the wrong calling for years now. Should have been the priesthood.
Good Lord. 15 love.
39.
Good, but it was a perfect lob. Well, nobody lobs better than Jimmy Connors.
Watch it right here, because John tries to cover it, and he leaves his feet here. Jimmy really disguises that well. John jumps, but is short by about a foot and concedes the point.
30-15.
And he's a little annoyed, because he don't usually get a ball over him like that.
It's on the line.
31.
Catch him in a second here.
As you can see him laying on the ground there. He just jumped up, and he jumped and fell over that net, trying to cover that ball. Let's see it again. Now watch Connors. Great drop volley here. Jimmy's going to scramble, dives for it, and he falls over the net, which is out of your camera viewing.
40-30, and Connors went through all sorts of hazards there. He caught his foot on the seam of the court. It came up during the point. And Fingers Finkelson right out to the net to measure to make sure it wasn't disturbed by that fall. Now he returns to his seat, middle left of your screen. It is 40-30. Well, one game off.
Danny McEnroe, games are 1-all.
How about you, Bud? But I think that McEnroe doesn't explode, doesn't get mad. He's awesome in his silence. He's still making great shots, and nothing's bothering him now.
Not yet, anyway.
You
Well,
get the feeling it's going to steamroller, that he's going to get on top of you and just roll over you.
that's what Gerleiter said yesterday. He said, I felt like a steamroller had hit me.
Well, I think Jimmy's tactic against John in the past has been to goad him and to egg him on and to try and make him look bad with the crowd and the linesmen. And it succeeded in London, where they had a 4.5-hour battle and McEnroe was ahead 2-0 and lost because he got angry, very angry.
Well, they've always provoked each other. Wimbledon, the semifinal, 1980. Even the umpire said, gentlemen, you must behave. And you just don't see that on center court in the Vatican of tennis. Break point. As Connors tries to repair the court, that seam. Break point number 2. And will Jimmy play serve and volley? Connors rises from 15-40 to deuce.
And we may ask our statistician, Dewey Blanton, who's charting this match. Let's see the split screen here. Connors staying back, but he's going to get in as soon as he gets a short ball. Here he comes. Little loop top spin. Right in there. Notice the little underspin punch volley. Cup the ball slightly.
It is deuce. Gee, net cord winner and a break point.
McEnroe a little lucky there, though. I'd still like to know how the percentages work out when Jimmy Connors comes to net versus the points he wins, the points he loses coming in, because I think he's about 7-3.
In favor?
Yeah, I really do. Be interesting to chart that throughout this match. If he keeps coming in, he's not going to beat him on the baseline. And he knows that.
Second deuce.
Never seen John so skinny, but we mentioned yesterday he looks almost frail in the chest.
About 150, but he feels he's as strong or stronger than when he weighed 15 pounds more. Says he moves quicker, he's eating better. goes for Connors, and he leads 2 games to 1 in the second set at the U.S. Pro Indoor Final at Philadelphia.
Coming in very quickly, nails that volley.
By grants from E.F. Hutton Incorporated, Thomas J. Lipton Incorporated, makers of Lipton Tea, Penn Athletic Products, General Tire and Rubber Company, and Transamerica Corporation, a diversified financial services, travel, and manufacturing company.
Channel 9, KQED, San Francisco. Call your attention to an outstanding lineup of programs this coming Wednesday night. At 8 o'clock, we'll present the next of this season's National Geographic specials, Egypt, Quest for Eternity. Ancient Egyptians spent their whole lifetimes preparing for life after death. We'll take a look at some of the spectacular monuments and temples they left behind, celebrating the power and mystery of their extraordinary civilization. That's at 8 o'clock Wednesday night. At 9 o'clock, The Most Endangered Species, George Adamson. It's a documentary narrated by John Huston about George Adamson, the husband of Joy Adamson, and his work ensuring the survival of wild game in Africa. That's at 9 o'clock on Wednesday night, and at 10 o'clock on Wednesday night, from the golden age of television, we'll present The Comedian. Not seen since the first time on television, 1957 on Playhouse 90, starring Mickey Rooney as an egotistical comic who thrives as a television star.
Clawing at each other's jugulars. John McEnroe. Once ruled America and the world. Overtaken by McEnroe. Bjorn Borg, not a factor currently, says he will not play any tennis until April. Ivan Lendl did not enter this week. McEnroe will wait until everyone is seated in his customary role of usher. McEnroe leads 6-3, 1-2.
Lead called, but he's been remarkably peaceful and quiet for John McEnroe yesterday against Gerolaitis and today in this match.
Totally restrained.
Those numbers, 1981, nearly $1 million in prize money.
Ace, number 6. And that's just the tip of the bank account, too. The prize money. Endorsements, exhibitions, probably more.
15 all.
Jimmy's starting to return a little better. Lunging and diving for these returns. Great serve.
7.
Beautiful. Connors leaning both ways, trying to read that serve. He goes to his right, McEnroe goes down to his left, and Jimmy's a little slow, but that was a perfect serve. He had guessed wrong. Fault called.
Fault is called.
John didn't hear that first call.
Fault was called by Eric Blanchard.
John McEnroe looks almost lost. Can't figure out what to do, whether to be a good sport and say nothing or to complain.
But now you can tell he's definitely trying to
Oh,
restrain
he's really
himself,
trying,
because
no
that
question.
would have called
No
for a
question.
full oration previously with lots of punctuation marks and capital letters.
And I think it's terrific what he's doing, Bud. He's obviously made up his mind. In 82, he's going to try to control himself, and it's obvious, and I think I hope he can pull it off. It'd be great for the sport.
I love it because, you know, he was the artist as a young dog before, and now if he could just be the artist altogether. The artist as a young dog? You've not heard of that word? Well, let's watch the tennis.
Game McEnroe.
So it's 2 games all.
2-all. Second set.
2 aces in the game from McEnroe. His total 7. Boy. Connor stayed in that point about 4 strokes longer than anybody else would have.
Looks like a casual rally, but it's one of the best shots of the game. The whole match, the exchange baseline to baseline. McEnroe is unbelievable with his talent.
Wide.
15-30.
The noise you're hearing in your background is not Bud Collins humming. It's our fans in the roof here. I guess they're trying to warm up the place, but suddenly it is tremendous fans on above.
Connors.
All right, let's watch Jimmy's good play here because it's a smart one. He sees McEnroe pop it up and he catches it quickly. Very, very smart out of veteran Connors. Great instinct for the game.
The break point.
Now watch McEnroe open this court up. The ball's right on the line. Jimmy steps slow, pops it up. That ball's too high. McEnroe wisely catches it on the fly, takes control. We're 2-all, second set. Connors has lost the first set, and he must hold the serve. Wide.
The break point. Oh, the most painful way to break is breaking yourself, and that's Jimmy Connors' first double fault. And McEnroe steps into a 3-2 lead in the second set as we step down to Barry McKay with the tournament co-chairman Ed Fernberger, one of the founders of the event.
All right, Ed, you've been at 48 2 years ago as total players to 32 in one court this year. You're going back to a 48 draw in 2 courts. Why is that?
We're going back to 48 draw in 2 courts. It's not fair to the players, the hours involved in playing on 1 court, and we don't feel it's fair to cut the draw to 32 and cut 16 players out of a job.
Ed, you've had McEnroe and Connors in your final here 2 out of the last 3 years. What's the secret formula when you start with 32 players?
I think the secret formula is having the 2 best players in the world in the draw.
Well, they're playing awfully well. How about your overall attendance this year? Has it been what you expected going into this year's tournament?
Absolutely. It's been as good as it's been in the past, maybe a little better. Certainly a great crowd tonight, or this afternoon, a great crowd Friday. We've done very well all week.
Ed, this tournament benefits an awful lot of people around the area here. Tell us a bit about what it does for the general area.
The proceeds from the tournament underwrite all of the kids' programs in the summer in southern New Jersey, eastern Pennsylvania, and all of the state of Delaware. Thousands of kids.
Well, we hope we'll see you next year, Ed.
I so hope so, too.
All right, back to you, Bud.
Okay, Barry McKay with Ed Fernberger, the co-promoter with his wife, Marilyn. 20th anniversary of the indoor event in Philadelphia. They've worked awfully hard. But he does talk like a promoter. He says the 2 best players in the world are completely ignoring Ivan Lendl, and that's the way I'd talk if I were a promoter. Ivan did not enter.
Well, that's the way you write. I mean, you sort of avoid some of the real
Avoid the
facts of
issues.
life.
Avoid the issues.
Exactly.
Certainly.
Fabricate, make it up. But Ed does a great job here in this tournament, and has for 20 years.
McEnroe protecting his lead with ace number 8.
Got this break now. He's going to ride it home if he can. 3-2, 15 love. He's get the feeling he's almost, in a way, toying with Connors. That is the feeling. He's not by score, but in exchange of rallies, he seems under control.
I thought sure Connors would lob on that point. McEnroe had belly buttoned up to the net. Four games to 2 for McEnroe.
Jimmy thought it was a let serve. No call. Fingers. Connors just yelled at him and asked, was it a let? He said no.
Finkelson shook his head. There he is. Matthew Fingers Finkelson uses either hand.
He ever gets a cramp in his left eye?
No, he's withstood everything this week.
Wrong. The pressure on Connors is never ending, the way McEnroe's choosing to play him, but there's nobody else in the game, with the exception of maybe Lendl, who can rally from the baseline the way McEnroe does, with the depth and power here. Connors is discouraged.
Well, by that you mean that Borg can do it, but it's always bang, bang, bang,
I'm
bang,
sorry,
bang.
I've forgotten Borg.
Do you
This
forgot
hadn't
him
been
already?
around for a while.
Bjorn Borg from Sweden. Not a bad player, but gone and forgotten.
Got a long way back up that slippery ladder. I think he'll do it, but he has his work cut out.
Why? But what you're saying, I think, is that Borg does not give you the change in pace and spin and pattern that McEnroe is working throughout this match in his rally.
He doesn't move you around as much either, Bud. He just hits that deep looping topspin, which is so effective on clay.
And more break points, pinching Jimmy Connors. Wide.
30-40.
Break point number 2 of the game. 5 in the set. McEnroe has made only 7 unforced errors. Connors practically double that, 13. There goes the game, and John McEnroe will be serving for a 2-set lead at 5 games to 2. And we're going to show you an all-time great. Some people think he was the best who ever played the game. Don Budge is bearing the check.
John McEnroe has to do in order to win the Grand Slam like he did back in '38?
Well, I think his biggest obstacle is going to be winning the French championships, because it's just a question of
of whether his ground strokes will hold up with a Borg or a Lendl or a club.
How about these days of tennis? Does it ever bug you when you look up and see all those hundreds of thousands of dollars and think what you made as the greatest player in the world?
Well, no, it doesn't really. I think I would have been a little wealthier today if I'd been playing today, if I was as successful. But I think it's kind of obvious watching these two guys play that McEnroe plays percentage tennis. Connors is taking all the chances, hitting hard from side to side. McEnroe moves over, glides over, rides them back. Once in a while he'll punch a ball. But he serves better than Jimmy, and he volleys better than Jimmy. And both players on their game, I can't see Jimmy really having a chance.
What is the great J. Donald Budge doing these days?
Well, of course, you know, Barry, I have my tennis camp in Baltimore, the Don Budge Tennis Campus, which will be in our 19th year this year. And at the moment, I don't have a winter spot, but I'm looking around for one, and without talking about it now because it's not definite, but I like to keep busy in the winter time, too.
Well, you're looking great, Coach. I hope you keep hitting that backhand.
Well, when the day comes that I can't hit my backhand, Barry, well, then I think I'll think of retiring.
Thanks, Donald. Good to see you.
Good to see you, too, Barry.
Back to you, Bud.
Thanks, Don Budge with Barry McCann. You know, when he toured right after the war with Bobby Riggs head-to-head, Budge made about $100,000. Now, you consider those 1946 dollars. He didn't do too badly. Johnny McEnroe going for the second set, which would give him a two-set lead. It is wide.
Bud Collins, you're a connoisseur of tennis. Sandy Mayer this week said that he thought McEnroe had the best serve in history. Would you agree with that? Who would you compare it with?
The best serve in history? Well, I don't go back as far as Sandy Mayer does, of course.
I would disagree with
Perhaps
that.
his father, Sandor, has been helping him with those remarks.
We'll talk about some other great serves.
There's ace, number 9. Or is it?
No, I guess they changed the call.
Nope. It's overruled. So instead, it's double fault number 2.
The great Don Budge said it so succinctly here for all of us. If McEnroe's on his game, Jimmy's on his game, he feels that Connors is no play. But that doesn't take into account if John blows up, and he is certainly not doing that today.
Greatest serve in history. Well, that's Sandy Mayer is a very bright young man, and that's an interesting observation.
I knew he didn't have the overlong longevity and perspective that you might have looking way backwards to Bill Tilden and others. I thought you might be able to give us a little insight into the best serve in history.
Well, yours wasn't. I recall that very vividly. It's long at McEnroe's baseline.
McEnroe 2 points from set and a 2-set lead.
There's ace number 9, and Connors just walks. 2 set points.
I don't think Jimmy believes right now he can win this match. But I've been proven so many times wrong by him. He certainly will not give up, but he's really struggling.
Winner on a set point.
Jimmy is ripping up the adhesive tape, the Scotch tape rather, that's keeping the seams together on that court.
Set point number 2. And you see the seamed court, which has come up a couple of times this week in court quakes. Another fine low return. Deuce. ball bounces over the stands, caught by Michael Levitt in the first row. Set point number 3. Connors erases another set point.
I said he wouldn't give up, and I'm sure he hasn't. Watch it here. Again, Connors is winning most of his points by ending up at the net. Here he comes. Jimmy catches that little flick shot by McEnroe. That's a push backhand, little underspin, but doesn't hurt him at all.
Opportunistic by Connors, and he is constitutionally unable to give up.
Exactly.
He is offended by players who do. And Jimmy has a breaker. So McEnroe from riding high with 3 set points now in the dinger with a break point against. And Jimmy Connors has walked the tightrope and gotten to the other side thus far. The set continues. 3 set points averted.
5-3.
And McEnroe's lead is 5-3. Still set game against Connors.
He was mad at that other let, and he's yelling at
Our good friend, Matthew Fingers Finkelson, who is unperturbed by any assailants.
Jimmy's the one who's starting to get a little wild here, not John.
Wide.
Up at 8.
It is long, and suddenly Connors is in the swamp again. Triple set point.
Again, Connors finds that goal mine by coming into net.
Here is set point number 5.
Didn't want to lose it here, Bud, because then McEnroe comes around and starts the 3rd set with his own serve. With a 2-set love lead, that's a giant advantage. 2nd serve.
cuts off Jimmy Connors, and McEnroe wins the second set, 6-3, and now leads by 2-0 in this best of 5-set final.
And on our continuing 1982 telecast program on public television, please join us February 13th and 14th. We'll be down at the Racket Club in Memphis for the U.S. National Indoor. Tommy Buford, the chairman down there, has a great field lined up in John McEnroe, Roscoe Tanner, Vitas Gerulaitis, Elliot Telcher, Noah, Gene Mayer, defending champion, and Elliot Telcher will be playing as well. So stay tuned. Watch for your local listings. Many of these same public television stations will be nationwide February 13th and 14th. The following week, we go out in our continuing broadcast to the Congoleum Classic in Palm Springs, California, at the La Quinta Hotel and Tennis Club, February 2021. Beautiful sun and fun out there, and another great field. Yvonne Lendl, the Masters champion, will be there. Elliot Telcher, Tanner, Gottfried, Teacher, possibly Jimmy Connors as a wild card. So join us on February 2021 in our third telecast on the same network stations on the public television.
So Connors, what does he have to do? Well, he has to win 3 sets. And in his mind, he will.
I don't think, Bud, he's attuned to this, but I think he's even got to start serving and coming in, because he's got nothing to lose now, and percentage-wise, he's way ahead up at the net. And he should try to get there wherever possible without coming in on short balls or bad shots, but he should try to get to that net, because that's where only time he's kept the match close.
So John McEnroe, here is the man who has won the championship 4 times. Here is the man who wants to win it for a first time. I'm Bud Collins with Donald Dell, Barry McKay. Set number 3 in the U.S. Pro Indoor commences. Oh! That's the shot of the day for Connors.
Watch how quickly Jimmy anticipates this first ball. Makes a good return, but he runs right to the spot and loops it down that line. McEnroe couldn't recover. Great anticipation.
Boy, that was a tough shot going down the line on the run, clearing the high part of the net. It is love 15.
Now the crowd will really pull the Connors, not because they don't like John, but they want to see this match continue. They don't want a straight set win.
Didn't like that call at all. From Tom Quinn on the baseline.
John is getting a nice little new habit here. When he gets mad, he just turns away from the linesman. I think he doesn't even want to look at him when he thinks he's made a bad call. He tries to get his mind away from it on something else.
Do you think he's really become the quiet man?
No, but I think he's made a concerted effort to prove a point to himself and to his critics that if he can be the best player in the world, most talent. There's no reason why he can't control himself if he wants to, and I've always thought that, and he proved that at Wimbledon 2 years running in the finals. So I've never believed this other baloney that he had to express himself and was hurting his ability to play, and that's nonsense. But it's very tough to do when you're used to getting your own way and yelling and screaming. And I hope he does it. And you know what, Bud? I don't think it makes tennis any less exciting. I mean, the people write, you know, we got to have a flair and a controversy. I don't know. Still hits great shots. Winners.
You never fell asleep when Rod Laver was playing, did you?
Precisely. First game of the final set. Ooh.
And McEnroe has it. And McEnroe will have to work again after the singles. He'll be playing doubles. And one of his opponents will be the venerable greatest player in the history of Goose Creek, Texas, Sherwood Stewart, along with the greatest player in the history of Framingham, Massachusetts, Ferdy Tagan, and Barry McKay has the vote.
Sherwood, what goes through your mind watching John McEnroe out here playing? Are you sort of hoping he'll play for another few hours to wear himself out before your doubles?
No, I don't think it makes much difference. He's just playing awful well right now, that's all I know. So I hope he won't continue over to the doubles.
Ferdy Tagan, is there going to be a day come when we'll see two complete different lineups for singles and doubles in a tournament? You guys are real specialists. Will that happen where guys will just play doubles?
Well, we certainly hope so, but I think still singles is the main event, and doubles will have to be secondary for now.
Sherwood, last time up, you and Ferdy beat McEnroe and Fleming over at Wembley. What are your plans today? Any special secret plans? I don't think they're listening to us right now.
No, we just go out and play our game, and basically it's a good return game. That's our strong points, and we're just going to go out and do that and just see what happens.
Does playing doubles in a tournament help your singles, Ferdy?
Well, I think it does. I mean, unfortunately, I haven't been playing very much singles lately, but I know John looks at the doubles to help his singles, and I think it really can help your singles.
All right, good luck, fellas. Thanks for being with us. Back to you, Bud.
Thanks, Barry McKay with Sherwood Stewart and Ferdy Tagan. That was a great question, Barry. You asked if it helped his singles. Jesus, I don't know if anything could help his singles. He won about 6 matches last year, but Ferdy is a marvelous right-court doubles player, and he won over $100,000 last year playing doubles.
Connors a little sarcastic with himself. McEnroe leading 1-love on serve.
Well, McEnroe's going right after him. He would cherish a straight set win over Jimmy Connors.
And he may get his wish.
Jimmy locked in the jaws of triple breaker. That is going wide, and McEnroe builds his lead to 2-love in the third set. Well, what's your advice, Captain Dell, for Jimmy Connors?
To punt. No, I think Connors knows very clearly what he has to do. The question is, can he do it? And that is, he's got to come in. McEnroe is having a field day, and what's bothering Connors is he doesn't want McEnroe to learn how to play him with such consistency from the baseline. In their head-to-head matches, remember, over 6 years, Connors still leads 9-7. He likes to keep that edge, and he's got to mix it up. I'd even take a second serve and come in, but that is totally foreign to Jimmy Connors, the way he swings at the ball. He hits that two-hander and then leaves the ground. He can't really come in off a second serve with a chip. But I think you'll see he'll start attacking any short ball.
Like right now.
Look at these unforced errors. That's the story so far. 10 to McEnroe, 22 to Connors. And here's a second serve. Let's see what he does.
First serve was a let, and here's the second ball.
Get a spin serve now.
Connors.
And Connors had to hit 2 good shots to win that. That return was tremendous. McEnroe volleyed it pretty well here. Look at that return. Gets good depth here, but the ball sits up. Connors goes whiplash cross court for a winner.
15 all. Ace, and that goes 10. The most in the tournament, 21 by Chip Hooper against John Sadri in the quarterfinals.
I don't know how many Sadri got that night. It was a 3-7 match. 7? It's a big server, too.
That was out. And a break point.
McEnroe cruising 6-3, 6-3, 2-love.
What a ton of spin on that ball. It really kicked. The break point goes away.
First serve is relentless. McEnroe, good percentage of first serves all afternoon. Well over 50%. And that has been his strength, always. Just keeps pounding you. Oh!
Second pitch.
Connors read that beautifully.
And ace 11. McEnroe had 6 yesterday in a straight set win over Vitas Gerulaitis. pleasant night as John McEnroe strides ahead 3-0 in the third set with a 2-set lead. And earlier, Barry McKay accosted a man who has pretty good strokes himself. Different sort of weapon. He's a fiddler. His name is Isaac Stern, and of course, he is one of the memorable ones. And Barry McKay asked him, what are the similarities, if any, between playing the violin and playing tennis?
There are some similarities. Both take a great deal of concentration on the part of the performer, as all the players do at the top of the rank. Some of the strokes, some of the playing have things which are like a follow-through. It's in playing the instrument as playing a game of tennis. Another is a sense of anticipation and imagination. We call it interpretation on the violin. Here it's a sense of interpreting what's possible on the court. When you see the kind of court master, let us say, that a McEnroe exhibits when he makes some volleys that are like a surgeon's scalpel in their aim and direction, or the court planning of a Connors as he maneuvers his opponents around and sets up a variety of shots until he gets a person into position. That's, again, the same kind of imagination. There's a sense of using the game or the performance as an instrument of making one's own mark.
Well, certainly Isaac Stern has made his mark with the fiddle. Jimmy Connors and John McEnroe with the rackets. Their stringed instruments. Well, now Jimmy Connors had better go for a longer mark right here. He is in dire straits against John McEnroe Jr. Down 2 sets, down love 3. Net cord. McEnroe.
You say that McEnroe looks like he's just toying with him right here. Now watch the replay, because he keeps the ball so deep. Here's a let cord. John comes in, covers it. Jimmy with the topspin lob, way short, and he knifes the backhand.
Love 15. Wide. So Jimmy Connors, who has won 33 of 35 matches he's played in the Philadelphia Spectrum since 1976. 4 championships in there. Is slipping today. Ooh. He's got it. Wide, and 3 more break points on the shoulders of Connors.
You got to figure, bud, if he loses this game, it's over.
And that's unusual. Jimmy, very sound overhead.
There it is. Love 40. Love 3.
Same size. The spinning lob, and 4 games to none for McEnroe, who has now won 5 games in a row.
Watch the artistry here of McEnroe with that left hand. He goes behind Connors with the beautiful topspin lob. He could have gone cross-court. He could have gone right at him, and he elected to lob it over his head for a 4-love lead.
McEnroe has won 7 straight points, 5 straight games.
spots Jimmy from that baseline, pounds it cross court. John guessed right, didn't move. And look at Jimmy playing behind him. Caught him off balance.
All.
That's unusual. He's a little late.
Net court.
McEnroe doesn't want to let him back in here. He almost did that in the first set, losing 3-love, point for 4-love. Here he's 4-love up, 2 breaks. He's down love 30. He's at 30-all. You want to close the door, get into the shower, and John McEnroe has to play the doubles final, so he's playing a lot of tennis.
Just wide.
I noticed you didn't say a word, bud. Not a word.
McEnroe.
Right.
No, he's mute today. Jimmy Connors, the king of Philadelphia to all these people with his 4 championships. But here is a usurper serving. And ace 13. Deuces. But what do you have to do to get a break point around here now? Let's watch McEnroe. The balance silence is broken. called good by Dottie Magner on the sideline.
McEnroe trying to control himself here. Turned his back to the guy. You can see it right here. Jimmy comes in with the second shot. High lob. And that ball McEnroe thought was wide.
And now you're watching John McEnroe with a break point against himself, making an obviously concerted effort to behave, and is being applauded for it.
You love to see that. Everybody appreciates it.
Break point. That is wide. And John McEnroe applauding Dottie Magner on the sideline.
John McEnroe.
He couldn't resist that.
Trying so hard not to blow and get mad. Not that he'll lose the match, but he just doesn't want to act badly on this court.
Two tight calls for Ms. Magner on the sideline on successive points. Could have gone either way on either one of them, I thought.
No question. There's no marks left on this carpet.
Just on her psyche, maybe. And McEnroe has the advantage.
She's wearing a visor indoors here, Bud, the lineswoman.
Well, I think that's sometimes wise. There's a tremendous glare off this court. It's tough to call lines on a court like this. And I think more the tournament should follow Wimbledon's examples, changing the lines people every 45 minutes. I think you get punchy out there staring at a line. So, McEnroe moves on to a 5-love lead, weathering a break point, and we'll see if Jimmy Connors can escape the bagel.
We have a few more lucky number program gets.
In the 1982 Volvo Grand Prix, it's a whole new horse race.
Right.
The familiar names in 1981 in the Volvo Grand Prix are all not heard from yet because there have only been 2 tournaments early on in the season. And for 1982, look at these names. Rod Frawley from Australia, Tim Wilkinson, both tied in first place. They've each won a tournament, 75 points. Lloyd Byrne, he's a new name. Russell Simpson from New Zealand in 4th place. John James, Steve Kulowitz, Chris Mayotte, Tim's brother, Robert Van Hoff, David Carter, and Larry Stefanke. Those players have all won points, mostly down in Australia and New Zealand in the first 2 weeks of the year. So it's a brand new horse race. And as you look at some of these young new names who are leading the pack momentarily, don't forget that in 1981, of course, that fellow John McEnroe finished second to Yvonne Lendl, the Masters champion, who won the Volvo Grand Prix bonus points in 81 as well. Connors, Clerk, Vilas, and Borg were rounding out the top 6. And you'll hear them more and more as the season goes on in the Volvo Grand Prix. But these new names are great to see so early on, and that's what it's all about. A horse race based on points for bonus pool money, $3 million in 1982.
So Rod Frawley leads the Volvo Grand Prix. Imagine that. I don't think he'll win the $600,000 first place bonus somehow. The leader at this time a year ago was Shlomo Glickstein. However, I feel that Connors and Borg and McEnroe might overcome those fellas. But you mentioned Lloyd Bourne. He's another one of those good players out of Stanford.
Good.
Yep. Net cord. Connors, but it's McEnroe.
I don't believe that shot with McEnroe in close.
To eyeball.
And he gets the wrong way and still hits the volley, running the wrong direction. Now let's watch it. This is a great rally. Elect Ford. He tries a drop shot. Here comes Jimmy. He scoops it very low. McEnroe goes right behind him. Jimmy guesses right, but look at John's quickness. He shovels it back.
It's love 15. Jimmy Connors straining to avoid the bagel, to somehow get back in the match. It doesn't appear that he will. Wide.
2 points from match. 6-3, 6-3, 5 love to John McEnroe. 30.
And triple championship point. You won't see this often. A love set against Jimmy Connors if he cannot get out of this chasm. That is long.
15-40.
Match point number 2. It's been a left-handed tournament here since it became the U.S. Pro Indoor in 1972. 2 titles for Rod Laver, 4 for Connors. Last year, Roscoe Tanner, and now another left-hander, McEnroe, on the threshold. Wet court. Wide.
30-40.
And 2 match points. Staved off. Here's match point number 3. On the line.
The 3rd match point.
Connors!
Boy, does this crowd explode. They love his guttiness, his fighting qualities. Watch Jimmy work his way up to this net. Here he comes. Good depth, guesses perfectly, angles the volley to deuce.
From Love 40, 3 match points, blotted. And Connors has a game point advantage. Two players who most certainly will wind up in the International Tennis Hall of Fame in Newport one day. Connors has pulled a Houdini for the moment. From triple match point, no bagel for Jimmy today.
What terrific fighting ability.
5-1, however, for John McEnroe.
But he's way out of the match. 5 love down, 40 love down, and he holds serve.
But he knows you build it one game at a time. And so he's won the first game. Can he break here? Service winner.
Got a different problem here to return that left-handed power machine.
Wide.
A great save by Connors down the center.
Points away again, McEnroe. Long. Skating on cakes of ice.
Watch him come in, catch the ball low, but he hits it perfectly into the corner. McEnroe's lob is short. He just taps it inside out.
30 all. McEnroe has all but one, but can he do it? It is long, and here is championship point number 4.
But this time with his serve to follow. Crowd cheering for Connors to get a return.
The left, first serve to be repeated. In the boxing game, a Philadelphia fighter has always been a complimentary term, and certainly Jimmy Connors is a Philadelphia fighter. He's got it. It's good. Oh, the champion will not be denied. John McEnroe with a smashing finish. The new king of Philadelphia.
You can't do it, Bud, with any more power and overpowering of Jimmy Connors. John McEnroe was not only brilliant, but he totally contained himself.
On a loss of 7 games. And let's hear from Barry McKay, who will have McEnroe to ask about that vow of silence. Was there one? Barry?
All right, Bud. John, congratulations. Is this the first time, in your opinion, you've beaten Jimmy Connors from the baseline?
I don't know. I played him from the baseline, I think, in the Masters pretty much, and I won there. I played, it's obviously a little bit tougher, but you don't want him to get used to the serve and volley game, because then he gets grooved and he starts really returning well. And when I first started playing, I came in all the time, and I beat him sometimes that way, but he started getting grooved on it eventually, and so I try to change it up each time I play him a little bit so he doesn't know what to expect.
John, it looked to me like today you were really working on controlling your overall temperament out there. Were there times when all of a sudden you were saying to yourself, man, I could really explode, but you controlled yourself?
No, I didn't really feel that way. I felt like I was under control the whole match, and I felt like I really needed to concentrate this match. I hadn't been playing well, like I said yesterday. And I wanted to prove that, I really felt good the last 2 matches I played, and I really concentrated well. And all I can say, I'm just happy that it's over with.
How about this year, John? You're off to a great start. What are your goals for 1982?
Well, I just want to try to improve my own game. I'm not going to try to worry about the other guys. Obviously, there's people on my back, and people have already talked about that in the papers and the press. So I don't even think I need to mention names, but obviously, I would like to get better myself. I'd like to try to get in better shape physically. If I decide to play in the clay courts especially, you really have to be in good shape and just try to get mentally tougher at each match.
All right, let me head over here, and thanks, John. See if I can catch Jimmy real quick. Jimmy, bad luck. Just a quick couple words, Jim. I know it's disappointing to start like this. I'll be as brief as I can. How are you feeling?
Well, I don't know. How do I look?
You look a little tired.
As long as I look good, it doesn't matter. Well, a little bit. I played a lot of late matches, and, playing late last night, and it's difficult. Maybe I play doubles. I won't have to play that late at night.
Jimmy, how about this year? 1982, a big year. You're still at the very top of the game. What are your goals for 1982?
Well, I'd just like to probably come out and try to play the best tennis that I can, Barry. And, I started off the year pretty well. I'm in the finals here, which is no great feat for me. But, in the finals, I'm played some good matches, and I played well in Chicago. And I started off the year pretty good. Maybe I need a little bit of a rest, to get a little more rest and to recuperate a little bit, but I feel like I'm hitting the ball quite well.
All right, Jimmy, we'll let you relax a little bit. Back to you, bud.
So a 6-3, 6-3, 6-1 victory for McEnroe, and we'll have more from the U.S. Pro Indoor.